Jesus. What else, Dave?
See mixed scoop with
Hold on. I'm looking for just a particular tweet. I can't find it now, but I need it. August 24th? Okay. Okay, ready?
I am ready.
Here we go. Here we go. Ready?
I'm
and ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is a crawl to the finish line week, ALB, isn't it?
Is it?
It has been for me. I've just been a few nights ago. We screwed up our sleep, and it's just been whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't want to be one of those people who tells you I'm tired. It doesn't matter because it's been a fun week, and there's all sorts of stuff going on. And I wasn't particularly tired. I don't even think I'm compared to people who are really tired. I'm probably not ever really tired. I just feel like me, who I'm fat and ridiculous and old, and this is what I should feel like.
We did move a couch today. So that could be contributing to the tiredness.
I want to ask you something. This is out of the blue. You have no idea this is coming.
Okay.
Would you say that I have been a success in life?
Yes.
Really? Based on what?
I think you are a successful radio host and media figure. You are influential.
I'm not technically a radio host at all at this moment.
I mean, but podcasting is the
broadcaster,
modern form of broadcaster, media figure.
No,
and you've had a lot of kids, so you're a success.
Okay, a lot of kids. Sense. If that's success,
you're an evolutionary success. You are not the end of your line.
I am an evolutionary success, and I'm a success if you count fun interludes with pretty blonde wives. They're definitely that. But this podcast is a lovely podcast, and I love it, and we've got lots of fans, and I pretty much sound the alarm anytime I get recognized. The first thing I do is let the family know that it is. And that's mostly because of this podcast, which is.
I mean, I do tell the kids whenever they ask me if I've ever met a famous person.
Yes.
I tell them, well, your dad. And they're not impressed.
And so for a
real famous person.
For a Boston D-list celebrity, I can hang with Boston D-list celebrities. That's which is why I know everybody, but I don't have anybody's money, and they don't. I can speak to. Well, I don't want to say everybody, not everybody, but it doesn't matter. So I'm not a. But fine. So this is what I would say. I would say that I went from. And this is just my life. First of all, we have no money. So there's that. But we do have a big asset, a big fat 300-year-old asset that we live in. So we have technically things, okay? So we're like, we have a big, beautiful house.
We're rich in other ways.
Right, I understand. But we're like, who's a Jane Austen, the family is one marriage away from losing the house.
Yeah.
Like that's...
Every Jane Austen story, but yes.
So that's how we hang on. Ostensibly, if you looked at this place and you looked at everything and said, wow, they really have it. Fine. And we have it better than a lot of people. No doubt about that. And that's just like money-wise and whatever, there are a lot of people who actually, had I just worked harder and not blown my money at the Hub Pub, then, this is easily traceable where the mistakes were made. So fine. As a guy who wanted to get into radio, who was not into radio, and then got into radio, getting in the doors is hard, and being the receptionist, and then just working really, really hard. I was older than most of the people who were trying to get in at that point. But really, really hard, definitely, that's something. I went, I took my shot, and I made my shot, and I got into WRKO, and I was the executive producer, and I was talking to the people that I idolized, and I was so happy. I didn't make much money. I made more than I ever made before. I was making in the $40,000. Can you imagine that? I remember I was actually looking at buying Saabs. I was so like, wow, I must be really well off now. I really was. I was talking to Sandy, How Your Car's producer, because she was a big Saab lady. Pathetic. Anyway, so... And then from there, I go over to Greater Media, and I'm Michael Graham's producer, and there's a learning curve, but we do it. And, we run a good show, and, you learn, you get to know more people. And from there, you go to the Boston Herald, and, build, so definitely the Herald thing didn't make any money. The WTKK went out of business. RKO didn't have great ratings when I went there, and if they did, it wasn't because of me. But I got to do kind of extraordinary jobs and avoid real work, which I had done my whole life before that. I was not doing bartender gigs anymore, which I still miss. And I, was not working, making copies for a living, which I did at one time, where I was not a bank teller and I was not a concierge or a front desk guy or a bellman. Or if I was a bellman, we would be living in a nicer place right now. This whole time. So anyway, so you could say that, okay, in a sense, I went for my dream and I got in there against a lot of odds because I had no business. I didn't know anything. So, okay, so by that, it's a success.
Right.
I would never, I think the moonshot of going from concierge to radio and getting in, that's the story to tell. But I didn't become Howie Carr or David Brudnoy or Joe Rogan or any of these people. I don't want to be offered an AM radio job. I don't want to, I can't, I don't like I can't imagine. What I'm doing with Domain Wire is the most aggressive, most impactful thing that I've done. Certainly.
Yeah. And I don't think the next Howie Carr is going to be in the terrestrial radio business. Certainly.
No.
And Joe Rogan wasn't Joe Rogan until very recently.
Well, Joe Rogan was a success in several things before he
was a success in a bunch of stuff. But
right, he had the audacity to not know that you're just allowed to do one thing. He just kept doing things, and because he didn't care, the world came to him and loved him. I do. I am pleased with.
But I think you've gotten to do a lot of pretty cool things.
Oh yeah, of course.
A lot of people who don't know necessarily exactly what it's become would think it's pretty impressive that you were the editorial page editor of the Boston Herald.
Sure.
Or even the editor of the Lowell Sun, which is a pretty prestigious local paper
in
its own right.
But those are despite my not being qualified to be that. I was only qualified to be that, which is there's
but you
nothing.
Did a good job at them.
Well, I was doing that because I had certain I had certain like skills as a man, as a street smart guy, and the few of us who were trying to survive there and were running the place could tell that we could trust each other, and that was it. You know, like that was it. And I can bullshit a little bit. So I don't take anything away from it. I mean, like I think like you're a success. You make good money. You're a marketing person and a mother and like whatever. So you're a success. I guess technically because I'm Googleable, I'm a success, and I'm such a whore that's all I ever wanted to be.
All you want is people at the beer garden at the 5K to know who you are.
That is precisely it. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So anyway, and like I wanted to work around Howie Carr and things like that. Now I work in Howie Carr's studio sometimes, and I've known Howie and his wife and known them
All
forever.
you wanted was to have people be excited when you shout out their Jamestown YMCA.
Oh yeah, now that shows you right there. But that's
Now
also,
that's how we know that you're a success.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that's a sign that I didn't go as a college intern into radio. That I still can't believe that I got into this world, Alice, because like I'm still excited about that. I tell people about radio guys I know, and some are like, "Oh, here we go. He's going to talk about talking to Howie again." Like I'm bragging. I'm not bragging. I'm saying it because I'm a fan, and I got in. So I'm like giving you the tea. It's like I got into the building. They let me in. I get to go to Intercom with Glenn Ordway, with Jerry Callahan, with John Dennis. With Howie and all these people, I got a fob that works. I'm allowed to go in and talk to them. And I was just a fan. So like telling people on the outside then who I'd known before I got into radio, who loved radio too, it was thrilling for me. I was bringing back the intel for them. It's like, wow, they're like this guy does this guy does this. How he really does take cans out of trash cans. Like all this stuff. So like there's this thing where I'm still thrilled that I'm ever part of this world because it wasn't handed to me. It wasn't given to me, and I didn't like go to Connecticut School of Broadcasting and like do a thing. Like I got in an odd way.
Right.
The reason I bring this up is this. Somebody who I met in radio or at Boston Herald Radio more than a decade ago. I think 2013, I met Tom Quinlan. And you know Tom Quinlan, right? Mm-hmm. Tommy Quinlan. So back then, he was a rich kid, not gay, and was a good board op kind of guy.
Where is he now? PRO? Or where is he?
He's PRO.
Okay.
He's in Providence, which is going to be the point.
Okay.
So anyway, he and we all did some work together. He worked for the WMAX in Boston. I worked for Boston Herald Radio. We had a kind of a deal together. And he did stuff at Herald Radio. He was a good broadcaster for a young kid. He was really good at soccer, sports, not shy at all, brash. He's good. Like he was a ballsy kid and good. Mm-hmm. He could play. Didn't take it personally, and like so that's good. A lot of people came through Boston Herald Radio. People would be surprised. But anyway, so I say this because of this. So Tommy now is a producer of a morning show in WPRO, which is AM Talk in Providence.
Right.
He is like a few thousand Twitter followers, maybe 1,500 Instagram followers, whatever. I have more than that, but I hardly have any. I would never tout because I only have 12,000 or whatever, and it took me 15 years.
Right.
And it's like, so like I don't have any followers.
You're not the king of social media.
I'm not the king of anything.
Okay.
The only thing I was a king of is that one ratings book where I got the bonus last year, and you told me that they were going to fire me soon, and they did. And
they immediately adjusted the formula by which they give you ratings bonuses. They were like, it seems we made a mistake.
So this is a tweet put out by Stormy Normant. Okay. She's some chick on TikTok or whatever. And Tommy replies to this tweet. And I want to hear, and this whole setup has been for me to get your assessment of this. Can you watch this?
Okay.
Media, or maybe specifically sports media. Any media, or maybe specifically sports media people out there, stitch this or comment what your first job in the industry's salary was. I'm super curious because I know inflation is a hell of a drug and the pay scale has drastically changed from when I was graduating college to what it is now. But I think there's a twofold thing going on here where people on the outside think that if you're on TV, automatically you just make really good money. And maybe that's transferred to younger people that are getting into this industry and that they're upset that they're not making triple digit salaries. Like, I made $23,000 in my first job. Even when I was doing sideline freelance stuff in my mid-20s, I was doing them for free, or maybe like $150, $200. The first big game I ever was assigned, I made $700 and I lost my mind. But I think because of the Pat McAfees and the Stephen A. Smiths, and you see these $1 million numbers attached to their names, you think you make more money? I don't know. Anyways, just expect, in my opinion, you're gonna be poor for a long time before you get that gig that starts paying you. So what was your entry level job?
Okay, that's fine. It's whatever. It's like most on-air jobs.
Trish in the chat, by the way, says that most of us who've listened to you since Michael Graham think of you as a local celebrity.
Here we go, Trish. Thank you very much. And working with Michael Graham, when I took Alice Shattuck to a function, actually, before she was Alice Shattuck, who was, you were lovely. That was the first time in my life I was giving autographs. People asked for autographs, and they were like, and I was doing it wrong. They were like, "You got to make it legible." I was like, oh, okay. It's like crazy. And this beautiful woman who wasn't you, this brunette, came up to me and said, "I love what you do so much. I can't believe it. You inspire me." And these dudes who were fans came over and they said, "Wow, do you get that all the time?" I was like, "If I got that all the time, I would be freaking. I would have a rash of venereal diseases and like." No, I got that once, and now I have a girlfriend, the blonde girl over there, of course. Still mad at you for that. Anyway,
Sorry,
so
I apologize.
here's the point. So this woman says this is nothing. Tom Quinlan then retweets us and has a quote tweet.
Okay.
And I need you to help me with something. Help me to put this in perspective. You remember, Tom's a guy who's probably 34, 35 maybe now.
Okay.
Maybe 36. Young guy, still alive. Inside, I mean, good looking guy, in shape, like has the world as a term. He says, money should be the last thing on your mind if you want to be successful in this business. You'll never make the real money if you're worried about entry-level pay. There is none. You either love this game and you grind it out, or you flame out quickly.
Well, I think that that's true in the sense that you will not make in media a lot of money early on, and you keep grinding forever. And a lot of people flame out from that quickly, and some continue doing it forever.
Okay. So my question is this: is he the morning show producer for an AM station in Providence, Rhode Island, or did, unbeknownst to me, he win the Nobel Prize? No,
but I mean, I think probably in Providence, he's a pretty big deal.
Probably.
I mean, you were a pretty big deal in Connecticut.
I never put something out like this.
I mean,
I pretty big deal to me still means pretty big deal. It does not necessarily mean. I mean, I had great fans and friends in Connecticut. There's no doubt about that. And listeners were great. Then it was great. And it was a
Splash in the chat wants to know, would you or not on the green dress girl from the Lindsay Clancy show?
Hell yes.
Okay.
And there's another psycho too. Yes. I am now. I feel it's an aphrodisiac if women love her.
And Trish says, this is my favorite saying, better to live a life of significance rather than a life of success.
Okay. I appreciate that.
But I do. Yeah, there is something about, like, if you want to make it like I've made it. And I know he didn't quite say that, though, But in a sense, I think a lot of people in this business do. Like, you've always been very honest and upfront about being sort of, for lack of a better word, you're going to hate me for saying this, but being like an average Joe kind of guy, right? Like you've always made a point to put that out there. But I think a lot of people in media do like fake it until they make it and very much act like they're a big shot, even when they're making 40 grand a year.
Some of the ones doing AI picture photo shoots, I'd say.
Yes. I mean, like, definitely. And, you know, I haven't looked through his social media, but I don't think Tommy Quinlan's doing that where he's like posting AI pictures of himself in a fancy car. But I mean, like, so
No.
in a way that's like way more inglorious to do the stuff like that. But I think that there is an attitude like that the people want you to seem like a celebrity.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so, like, they're putting out these, like, slick AI photos of themselves with their own quote on it that they made on their iPhone at night, you know, putting it out there, pretending they have, like, a social media team like the Daily Wire who's making stuff, right? And, you know, the Daily Wire is probably having to lay off a lot of those people in the age of AI. But I think that there's a fake it till you make it thing, because I guarantee that some of the people that we've seen putting out stuff like that are not making, they're probably not breaking $50,000.
No.
I mean, like, so, but they're like posting photos of themselves like they're a celebrity and acting like a celebrity. They're encouraging, if anything, that impression that they're some kind of like big shot, right?
Yeah.
And it does create an impression amongst like regular people that those jobs pay a lot of money, which they really don't. But although, I mean, certainly print media doesn't. I remember being horrified when I was working nights at Home Depot making $16 an hour plus lots and lots of bonuses during COVID. And you were interviewing people to work at a newspaper, someone with a master's degree.
Yeah.
And offering her under $35,000 a year. Like she was you were offering her, and you had to fight to get that high.
Yeah.
Less money than I was making nights at Home Depot. So that's like, the salaries in media are insanely low. It's really like, it's really a rich kid's playground for the independently wealthy.
Yeah.
Or it's, you have to embrace entrepreneurial YouTuber, streamer mindset and be like out there doing stuff, creating content, which I think, you know, places like the Main Wire more are embracing and doing. People like Nick Shirley doing the fraud stuff. I mean, there are lots of people who are pushing it to a new place, but traditional legacy media, it's part of what's so broken about it is it's only like trust fund kids who can afford to do that.
Now, I want to say a couple of good things.
Okay.
One, I think that Tom, since he's shown so
Mark
bright.
in the chat says subbing for Howie Carr is a big deal.
Yeah. No. I agree.
You've actually had a bunch of feedback on that.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt about that, Mark. And I've been a Howie guy forever. And so for me, it means a hell of a lot. It probably would have meant a hell of a lot more.
Dr. Cheswick says, I'm Tom Shattuck. I'm a pretty big deal.
Well, so no, in doing the Howie thing, and but it's not one of these things where I'm like, oh, wow, the Mike Flag says the Howie Carson. Like I've been in this. I'm broken to the point where I'm ready for it. You know, I'm not like it's 20 years ago. You put me in that studio 15 years ago, or at all, and I'm like more like, oh my God. But that's how it works, As soon as you're like dead inside or not that interested, then they want you, obviously. but I will say this about Tom, and I'm only using him because he's kind of a unique example. Because once again, a young guy. Two things: one, he did so well during soccer that I'm sure he's going to be a TV guy. He has a good attitude. He's going to work. He's talented at it. People like him. He's good at TV. He can take a joke. So that's all the stuff. None of this is about disrespecting him. I'm just looking at him being like the self-evaluation, and I'm like, wow. Here's another thing that is effing tells me the best thing in the world. And I'm going to mention two more guys who have gone places. the best thing in the world is that you've got a guy under 40 who's freaking thrilled to be in AM talk radio. And that is great, and that is rare. And I guarantee you, the people in that station are like, holy shit, this kid's like under 60, and he's like loves it here. He wants to be here. He wants to work at this station and not the FM freaking, top 40 station. And so
Flash in the chat says, and I don't understand this, but maybe you will. He says that you could be the next Bob Suderlund. Sutherland? I don't know
if I know who that is.
Suderlund. I don't know. Dr. Cheswick says Tom brought back Scondrus.
I did bring back.
What does that
don't
mean?
ever forget that. That's a Howie. Hold on, I'm bleeding on the leg.
Oh, God.
That's a Howie. Hold on.
What is happening over there?
Oh, there's some kind of wound or wounds.
Okay, good. That's good.
So Scondrus. That was the. David Scondrus was an alternative lifestylist, congressman, or state lawmaker. I forgot which one he was. No, he was a congressman, I think, who got into some trouble. But he called 911 one time when wasted, and coughed into the phone, and it sounded like a sound of sex. And so VB used to play it all the time. And then I was talking to Howie when I got to be executive producer. And I said, whatever happened to the Scondra sound? And Howie said, yeah, they banned it. They wouldn't let it happen. And I said, well, bring it back. Let's go. And because that was my own thing. So anyway, so that's why I think they like Tom. Another guy who was great, who can made it, was Tyler Henderson. Remember Tyler? Mm-hmm. Tyler Henderson was a kid who worked at Boston Herald Radio and used to work at the morning shift. And used to intern at other stations and work at Gillette Stadium until 3 a.m. sometimes, and just sleep in the parking lot for 2 hours and come right in 2 hours later, and never mentioned it. Somebody else saw him sleeping in his Jeep and said, "But your guy, by the way, just sleeps there," and never mentioned it. And he's now working for CBS Sports, and he's a winner. The other guy who was in it to win it, who these are success stories, was Rob Finnerty, who when I was at Intercom. Was a young, exceptionally handsome guy. You know Finnerty, right?
I don't know.
Newsmax. Finnerty was hustling and hustling. Mm-hmm. He got a.
But I mean, I think that all just goes to say that what Tommy Quinlan said there is true. It's just you're coming from a place of authority as how you make it in the business. But I think he likely will go further in the business. I don't think his story's done too.
Yes.
But I think that his point is true, is that in media, people do grind for a very long time, making very little money. And that nobody who's not willing to go through that gauntlet makes it.
Yes.
If you come in and you expect to be making $100,000 in media out of college, that's not happening.
No, all of these, with a couple of exceptions, all of these people are so desperate for gigs who are in the business. They're so desperate for gigs that they all, even if you're an executive producer, which is under the program director, everybody, half the people around the country will take your call. Glenn Beck was taking my call back then, 20 years ago. Especially I was with WRKO, which is a big station. Because management, all talent just ball washes management because they just want gigs, whatever it takes, want gigs. And I was surprised by this because I was not ready to be a manager, and I was thrown into WRKO, and I had all these local celebrities like Dan Ray, but you don't know some of them, but you probably don't know Dan Ray, who was trying to get a gig for me, and I was it was weird for me. It's this is a guy who's been a hero of mine forever, and he's trying to get. He was just one of them. I had Adrian Cronauer call me up and ask if we could do something together. You know who that is, Alice?
No.
That's Good Morning Vietnam. The actual guy.
Robin Williams character guy.
Yeah. Oh. But that wasn't because it's me, but because I was. You get to be a decision maker, and people are desperate to have these gigs because it beats real work. Is a point. With that, I hand it over to you, my lovely wife, Alice. Who, by the way, we bought a used couch today, and I have never felt like a third wheel so much. The guy who sold us the couch is named Joe, who mentioned, he mentioned, by the way, I'm like, do we want help with this? I can just do it with Miss Honey. He says, listen, I'm 6'3", 250 pounds. I can handle this. Good looking guy. Do you
You
admit
didn't say that to me.
Do you admit he was a good looking guy?
I didn't notice.
Alice is talking to this guy. He says something to me about like, about what he wants to do and like how we can best get this thing up. And my wife audibly moaned in the same room.
True.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So goofy. Stop projecting your weird fantasies onto me.
No, it's fine. He's Alice. He's a good-looking guy.
I was messaging his wife. I'm friends with his wife now.
He can be your Terry Garr.
No.
Move Malugin along. You've met a real one now.
Ew, you're so weird.
Okay.
Stop.
Go ahead.
That's so weird. Yeah, we got a used couch. It's somewhat of a temporary measure because we don't feel like spending a ton on a brand new couch right now at this second when our house is full of people who are just going to thrash it.
Yes, we don't feel like spending the ton that we have right now.
And by a ton, I mean still under $1,000. But no, it was a good deal. Super nice people. This was exactly what we needed at this moment in time. Our kids are super happy with their new couch. Everyone's happy. I don't know why you've made up a thing about it.
It's not making up a thing.
We are so late on this story. I can't believe we haven't done this story yet. But I like kept meaning to bring it up, but there's just been so much going on this week that we haven't gotten to it. But basically, Gary, Indiana, which is a place I mainly know from The Music Man, they had some big storms and they were without power. And they're a predominantly black city.
It's not a great city. If you've driven from here to Chicago, it is hellacious.
Blighted.
Yes.
But for a variety of reasons, it's like a hollowed out Midwest town sort of story, right? I mean, I don't know that much of the history of Gary, Indiana, but I think it's like one of these towns that was industrial and like factories went away, right? Isn't that the deal?
Yes.
But anyway, they had all these storms, they lost power, and it took like a really long time to restore power, which the mayor went on the Don Lemon show. He had a theory as to why that it took so long to restore power. Do you have this audio? Because I sent it to you.
Oh, okay.
It's in here. I just resent it back to the top. But yeah, the mayor went on the Don Lemon show, and something kind of similar happened in, I think it was Memphis. They lost power and were without power, and there were some theories there as well.
This is, to me, it feels like neglect. Do you think that some of that neglect comes from or is happening, if you feel that way? It may be in part because Gary is a black working class city?
100%. I believe a couple things are at play here. During the middle of the restoration process, the utility company, and full transparency, 15 years, I worked for that company, so I know about the process. They were releasing the updates of restoration, and Gary was not listed on that restoration list. Gary is the largest geographic footprint of a city that we have, not population-wise, but geographic footprint. And that was the moment that the extreme frustration came out from the public, because it would appear that we're being forgotten when you don't list out the actual restoration time frame. So that's where all of the mayhem really started to get triggered on the ground level.
Okay. Well, it sounds like racism.
And the state rep from Memphis tweeted out, after a thunderstorm last night, 100,000 households in Memphis are without power. This was a few days later, possibly until Thursday. It's 90 degrees outside. Another majority black working class city left in the dark. Straightforward case of racism, honey, right? It was like, I think almost 2 weeks that they were without power. So it turns out that utility company, NIPSCO, I guess it's called, the electric company, put out a statement and said that they sent out a group to work and assess the power, and that they were forced to pause their scouting to restore the power because the crew was shot at. The marked NIPSCO Jeep was hit twice with one bullet lodged in the headrest. We had to pause work until the city and the company put a plan in place for their safety. It's unfortunate. It shouldn't have happened. And, they do have their power back on now, thank goodness, in Gary, Indiana. But, I mean, can you just, as the mayor of the city, before you go out on the news and into the media and complain that you've been forgotten, can you just make sure that your city doesn't shoot at the people trying to restore power?
Well, what do you say? Nothing's anybody's fault anymore who does anything wrong.
No, nothing to see here. It's not our fault. The weather and the universe conspired to mean that we don't get power. But that's the thing, is that like a lot of good stuff doesn't happen in your city if people can randomly get shot. Trish says, most murderous city in America, possibly. Yeah, but, and it's not, when they say like racism, everyone who runs the city is black. Everyone who runs that utility company is black.
Right.
Like there's no more, like, I understand that we're talking about like systemic forces and history and whatever, but like everybody who runs this right now is black, and the utility company can't do their work because you're shooting them.
Right, because they're not doing the thing to make people stop shooting, because there's no glory in that. But it's the same thing with Brandon Johnson.
Of course.
It's saying, like, just taking a victory lap.
There are more Latinos in my administration than any time in the history of Chicago. I believe we're at about 30% of my administration in top executive positions that are Latinos. Same thing with chairs.
You hear it says Latinos?
Mm-hmm.
Of boards on city council. More Latinos have chairs of committees than any other time in the history of Chicago. And I believe that's important. Once upon a time, the mayor's office was 70% white men. That day is long behind us. Do we have to continue to work hard to make sure that representation is there? Absolutely. Has my administration reflected that value? Yes. There are more Latinos in my administration than any time in the history of Chicago. I believe we're at about 30% of my
And did you see
in top executive positions
the city
that
councilor
are
Nitya
Latinos. Same thing
Raman,
with chairs of
whatever,
boards on
in
By the way, just want to add, for just to be factual about this, Latino is an English word.
Latino, yeah.
You're allowed to just say Latino.
Latinos.
You don't have to say Latinos, which tells you like where his emphasis is and where his priority is, because he thinks his city is a fucking mess. It's terrible because he's an incompetent
But good thing we have
activist.
the right percent of the right skin colors
you see?
in the
See what we've
mayor's
done?
office.
Jesus.
But that's what Democrats feel is success. Nothing else matters. Nobody has power and they're shooting at the power company. But oh well, kids are dying in the streets. Oh well, none of the schools are freaking passing. Well, they're passing kids out of high school, but they're not teaching them to like read, for example. No. Nothing's happening that's improving anybody's lives. Did you see this? Raman, the city councilor in LA that beat out Spencer Pratt, that he didn't even make the primary or whatever, the runoff. She tweeted out today, the Los Feliz Neighborhood Council alerted our office in late 2025 to the need for a crosswalk at Sunset Drive and Bates Street, which has just been completed. Thank you to our incredible CD4 field team for continuing to problem solve, push for solutions, and make our streets safer. And then she posts a before and after picture of this street that says over it, improving our neighborhood street infrastructure. And the street is like massively cracked and the asphalt's completely falling apart. The whole thing's a mess. But you'll be pleased to know that since 2025, so a year ago now, they have painted a yellow crosswalk over the cracked, falling apart street.
Yes, it is freaking beautiful.
So that's what we did for your streets are falling apart. There's homeless people going to the bathroom on them. We can't teach your kids anything. We can't keep you safe from anything. We can't keep your power on. We can't do anything. But you know what? We're really focused on infrastructure. What infrastructure, you might ask? Well, we painted some lines on the street.
The paint that didn't seep into the earth in the fissures, the natural faults that are in this street.
It's freaking amazing. And they don't think there's anything wrong.
No.
They're tweeting out the big success story of them doing that. So, yeah, I mean, the whole thing is like disgusting. They're awful at this. I want to do one more news
One more, and then we
story.
get into the chat. It's a big chat.
One more news story just because it's going to bother you. But this is a Georgia teacher. Did you see this story?
I'm not sure.
So she's an elementary school teacher in Atlanta. And she was having problems getting the kids to focus in class because the kids were farting in class and causing a disruption, and everybody would get distracted.
Yes.
So what she did is she made a corner of her classroom the fart station. And there's an air freshener there. And so when kids need to fart, they can just excuse themselves and go to the fart corner of the classroom and fart over there and then spray air freshener and then go back to their seat, which she says is really good because it's like normalizing a normal bodily function.
Okay, that needs to be carpet bombed. That whole state county needs to be carpet bombed right now.
In the learning environment without interruptions.
Okay, I'm not happy with you. All right, ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Hey, Burn Barrel, Tommy NH.
Hey, Tommy.
Hey, I didn't appreciate your attack on Tim from Canton on what you called his speech impediment, which
I didn't call it that. Alice did.
is
You were
nothing more than a
implying it.
fantastic Boston accent,
Correct.
which I share. You pompous ass from Winchester.
Well, here's the problem. Is that there are people listening from all over the place. So when he says, what did he say?
Send the meteor.
And he means journalists, right?
No.
Okay. Did he mean a rock in space?
Yeah.
And were we talking about a rock in space?
He said, in his accent, he said, send the media.
He said send the meteor.
But
He meant meteor.
yes.
Okay.
And so when he said, send the meteor in his accent, then you said, yes, Tim, send the meteor. You said the R
Yes,
like 3
because
times.
I had to let the rest of the listenership know
I
what he
think
meant.
most people know what a
Oh,
Boston
you're
accent
such a
is.
backstabbing. Oh.
Meteor. Also didn't appreciate your attack on Alice by saying she looked like a female Jar Jar
A
Binks.
good-looking Jar Jar Binks.
This coming from a man who has a body of Bumble and a head like Shrek. You shouldn't be judging others.
How dare you? How dare you?
He claims he means it as a compliment, which I think
lot of-
reveals more about you
You
than
say a body
me.
of bubble?
I don't know what that is.
I think it's just essentially what's the woman who used to do the rest I'm gonna get this wrong because I'm gonna get it wrong.
Whatever.
But the guy anyway, she used to say that this other comedian Jim whatever from O&A Opie and Anthony, she said his body takes the shape of whatever you pour into it. That's fucking great. It's the lady who used to do the roast who I've interviewed, and now I don't have her name or his name or anybody's name.
Hey, Burn Barrel. Yep, second one here.
Hey, Tommy.
NH. Hey, I think we need to flip the Patreon model over upside down.
How so?
I think I'm investing like anywhere from 20 to 30 hours a week listening to Tom Shattuck.
Yes.
I mean, talk about taking one for the team.
What?
You guys, I will send you my Venmo. You guys can start kicking me like, I don't know, 10, 12 bucks a month. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
If everything were fair, then yes, you're correct, Tom. I agree. We're in the rears to everybody who listens to the show.
Hey, Sato from Okinawa. Well, the 3-day mourning period is officially
Yes.
over.
Thank goodness.
You know, the show starts. It's on fire. It's
Thank you.
basically, talking about Tom and how horrible he was on Highway Car, fast and fat and on stimulants. Who knows what was going on? I
stop
listened
that.
to it too. He was hopped up on something.
That is not true.
And then we talk
That's
about
just
Nepal
Tim.
for a little bit. And then Alice, the wife, puts the brakes.
I'm Tom.
Hmm?
I'm Tom. That's just Tom.
Is that not what I said?
You said that's just Tim. Oh,
That's just him.
You said Tim. That was a yeah. Mm-hmm.
on highway car, fast and fat and on stimulants. Who knows what was going on? I listened to it too. He was hopped up on something.
Incorrect.
And then we talk about Nepal for a little bit. And then Alice, the wife, puts the brakes. You know what? Let's take a turn and let's talk about Social Security and the bond market and municipal bonds. Good fucking Lord.
That's
I
good
wanted
stuff.
to just drive. I wish I was in Nepal. 37 seconds.
Alice's stuff was good stuff. By the way, they're only saying I thought that was great. We had talked about that earlier in the day, and I was like thrilled. The moment she went over to that, I'm like, oh, okay, good, I'm done. It's good. She'll take this baby home because I was out of gas. But I thought that stuff was interesting. I took everything Alice said and used it as my own on Mainwire TV today, and everybody's into that. It's like multi-generational. Everybody's into that, talking about that on Mainwire TV.
Yeah, our daughter was even impressed because I told her about it, and she came to us with her little first paycheck, and she was like, look how much she took out for Social Security.
Correct.
Hi, Steve from Merriman.
Hey, Steve.
Your beautiful wife
Yes.
reminds you of Jar Jar Binks.
A good-looking...
Thank you.
I hate Jar Jar, which I don't hate her, except for when she backstabbed me with Tim. But she looks like a good look. When she's in the car and she's to my right looking forward, her face looks like a pretty version of Jar Jar. If Jar Jar had a pretty sibling, that's what she looks like.
That is really amazing. That and the whole dolphin face thing with Reese Witherspoon,
Hot dolphin.
Do not get. But gee, I wonder which character from the Star Wars universe you remind Alice of. The initials are JTH.
I guess. Alice
Thank
is
you.
not on camera because she's a weasel, but she is thoroughly enjoyed that.
Because I was lovingly crafting scalloped potatoes downstairs for you.
What does that have to do with anything I just said?
No, that's why I'm not
You're
on
such
camera,
a
because I don't
backstabbing
want to take
weasel.
the time to like do makeup and that stuff. I'd rather use that time to make a lovely dinner for my family.
So, Alice, does Tom take 25 minutes to tell you an answer about something that you've asked a question to, like he did, detailing this entire schematic about talking about some YMCA in another state that he mentioned online? Is that how long it takes for him to answer a question to you? Because
yes,
you need to pull papers to get a divorce. In all honesty,
that was it. Needed.
No, I can tell you.
Yes.
That I said when you finished Mainwire TV, right?
Yes.
That I needed to go to the store to get the stuff to make dinner, right?
Yes.
And you said you wanted to come, right?
Are you talking about this, what we're listening to, or
Yes.
something else? Okay.
Yes. And you said you wanted to come, and I had to ask you like 3 more times. Do you actually want to come? Because I want to get going. I said that a bunch of times. What time do you generally finish Mainwire TV?
5-ish.
Okay. We left our house at 5:50.
Okay.
5:50 it took of you sitting on the sofa talking to me about that you were going to get up and go to the store with me.
Are you having an episode?
No, if we had just, I'm saying,
What does this have to do with?
you take a long time to answer things and to like move forward.
Okay.
That was the question: is do you take a long time to answer questions?
Okay.
Was it not? Am I
Not
crazy?
really. This is about last night me telling the story of the YMCA.
Yeah, but he said,
And it
do
took a
you
while.
take that long to tell stories and to answer questions?
And so you said that
Yes,
tonight
you do. It took you an hour
to decide to go to the store.
To go to the say you would go to the store.
Okay. Let's stay on target, Alice. Stay on target.
tell you an answer about something that you've asked a question to, like he did, detailing this entire schematic about talking about some YMCA in another state that he
Yes.
mentioned online. Is that how long it takes for him to answer a question to you? 'Cause
Yes.
you need to pull papers to get a divorce. In all honesty,
No.
that plane took forever to land, and it was out of gas a long time before it even touched the ground.
That was historic.
Dear Jesus.
No.
Also, Tom, it's Lindsay Clancy. It's not Stacy. It's not Cagney and Lacey.
I loved
it's
her.
Lindsay Clancy. Okay,
I
it's the
loved-
biggest trial there is.
They
And
gave
you
the
were
jury
right to tell them
instructions.
no, you didn't have any opinion on it. But the fact that you couldn't remember her name, come on.
I loved Cagney and Lacey. I loved Tyne Daly. There was a girl in the 90s I made a pass at, kissed her. And you can't kiss me at this rooftop. So it looked like Tyne Daly.
The jury's now deliberating in the Lindsay Clancy trial, and the judge gave them the instruction that they could also consider manslaughter. So,
Okay.
which I think may ultimately be what happens. Don't put your head down like that at me. I think they may go for manslaughter because for manslaughter, you don't need the criminal mind stuff that you need with murder one, which I think that's what's really hard about the case is that I don't know that they've proved beyond a reasonable doubt that she wasn't hearing voices telling her to do stuff and not in control of her own stuff. I'm not sure I'm not sure I fully believe that she actually was experiencing that level of psychosis. So I don't know that I believe her fully, but I'm not convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that she wasn't. But I do think that the manslaughter, you just have to show a criminal level of recklessness. I think if she was that mentally ill, where that was something that was happening to her, that having her husband leave for that length of time probably is criminally reckless. Where that's where your mental state is, then you have to not be around your kids. That's I think they probably can prove that. That would be, if I were a juror, which I am not, then that would be what I would want to push for personally.
Ali, what does the number, 49 mean to you?
Nothing. Why?
Okay, that is the number of minutes we've been doing this podcast.
Heaven
no more
forbid.
new thoughts, no more new blooms or flourishes. We're putting it to bed.
Why do you hate the listeners?
Because they didn't appreciate the broadcast miracle I pulled off at the YMCA last night. It was
Everyone's
a miracle. That has
very
never been done.
impressed by you, honey.
That has never been done before. That place will never be the same. I guarantee you there will be a plaque up to me on this day.
Hopefully it made the local papers.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hey, Steve.
Alice, sweet Alice.
Yep.
Let me be among the last to send my condolences, and I apologize on the passing of your father and wishing you peace. Now, having said that, let's get back to why your husband sucks. Okay? Partially, he sucks. Well, there's a lot of reasons, but chief among them is his taste in music. I really was appalled by the discussion in the wake of the death of the American treasure, Dolly Parton.
I like her.
Tom regaling us with how bad country music
Discussion.
sucks.
It does.
Because the man has never listened to country music in his life.
Incorrect.
Even Alice, I'm sure you're not the biggest fan in the world. You're like,
she
I
does.
like some country
She likes the
music.
crappy stuff that you probably like, Steve. There's no doubt about that.
I like Morgan Wallen and Brad Paisley.
country music in his life. Even Alice, I'm sure you're not the biggest fan in the world. You were like, well, there's some good songs. There's freaking great songs.
Oh.
Tom, pick up any one of freaking Waylon Jennings albums or Willie's output from the 70s or blah, 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 blah. Oh, they're very rewarding, brilliant records. And as usual, your taste is in your tuchus. Thank you.
Da na 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 da na 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 na. That's Willie and Waylon Jennings. The Outlaws. I did hear that stuff. I like On the Road Again just fine. Although, whatever. I like some of the old classics, but it's mostly crap. I'm sorry. Most White Yoakum, other than Tears of Something of a Clown, most of the stuff is crap. Most Lyle Lovett was crap. Most George Strait was crap. Most Garth Brooks stuff for One Brilliant Song is crap. The Thunder stuff is crap. It's mostly all crap with a few exceptions.
I like that.
Oh, yeah. It's crap. Most of the ladies said that it's not a river name, but denial from the early 90s is crap. Most Reba's crap. I'm sorry. Most of the stuff is crap. It just is. I didn't make the rules. Most of that guy.
Yeah, I don't know stuff like that.
Ronnie
like
Millsap
Reba
or whatever.
Like
Brooks and Dunn
I
is
don't
crap.
know that, but I mean, I got you into some country when we were first dating.
Yeah, but there was thematic. It was, I like rain. Rain makes whiskey.
Yeah, it was like the kind of novelty songish.
You were bopping around in your little blonde outfits in my car. So, yeah, I was going to indulge you.
Hey, guys. Just a comment or two on Alice's rant regarding how baby boomers are ruining Social Security. Fact is that many baby boomers will not receive what they paid in, particularly those with that were higher wage earners and worked lengthy periods of time. As for Medicare,
that's actually,
premiums
wait, can you pause for a second? Because I want to say that on average, the baby boomers are going to collect a lot more than they paid in.
Okay.
Even adjusted for inflation and everything else.
All right.
It does go up for inflation because there's COLA adjustments to it. So it's like I mean, there are people who won't collect as much as they paid in, mostly if they die early. But with retirement age being 65 in the United States, it's much more likely that you're going to collect a lot more than you paid in. I mean, if you spent most of your life making well over the cap, then maybe not. But if you paid in the cap amount, the amount that you're going to get back is likely to be far more than you paid in. Because if you hit that cap, and actually, if you hit the cap, you don't pay more in. So if you're a high wage earner, then you actually you stop paying in above the cap. So it's like, I don't know, $125,000 a year or something is the cap. But I think it's gone up over time too. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
You know what number Teddy Bruschi was?
No.
54.
Okay.
You know what else 54 is?
Mark in the chat said 49 was Tim Wakefield's number when you last brought up 49. So there you go.
Lengthy periods of time. As for Medicare, premiums are paid based on current income levels. So those Alice wants to strip of that earned benefit are actually still being charged a higher rate and paying more than most.
There you go.
When you talk a lot, you have to be careful, as some folks may just take what you say as rote.
No, but it's actually
Generalizing
true that Medicare payments and the premiums that are paid in now cover only half of what's paid out in Medicare benefits. I mean, I could be careful. I could be careful all day. It doesn't change the fact that the math on this stuff doesn't work, and it's not going to work. And that if Congress doesn't bail you guys out, then everyone, including the lower income earners, are going to take a haircut on this stuff because there are automatic cuts that are going to go into place when this runs out of money, which it will, not because anybody stole it, but because the entire program was set up as a Ponzi scheme from day one 100 years ago. So, I mean, I don't know, this is the problem. This is exactly the problem, is that anybody who tells the truth about this stuff gets the pointy baby boomer finger. You better listen to me, young lady. You got to be careful what you're saying out there. And the little pointy baby boomer finger comes out and you point your finger. And that's why we're still friggin' haven't fixed this program that's going to bankrupt the entire freaking country. So congratulations. I don't know what to tell you. This is the issue because you can take people like me who supported Paul Ryan and wanted to make intelligent fixes to this program, 20 years ago and actually fix it. So there was something here left to save. But instead, you're going to do this and you're going to take this thing right off a freaking cliff. And then you're going to get the friggin' Robespierres of the world who are going to come for Social Security and Medicare. So, good luck. I guess you've chosen your path.
Rote.
Do you know what rote means?
It means, I always hear
top of my head,
paired with memorization and...
Top of my head, it means the process of learning or doing something through mechanical repetition
it's like
and habit without needing to
memorization.
fully understand the underlying meaning.
Memorization. But But there's like, you can go look up the numbers on this stuff. Like, this is not, I mean, good luck. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Now my meteor thing doesn't seem so bad, does it? I hope you enjoyed your friendly fire.
Rate and paying more than most. When you talk a lot, you have to be careful, as some folks may just take what you say as rote. Generalizing is always dangerous. 46, 47, 48.
Well said.
Yeah, no, this is the friggin' sensitivity. Is people are scared to say anything because you guys freak out if anybody points out that this is like not a sustainable program. It's the craziest thing that this has been made into this third rail of politics, and nobody's allowed to fix it or even bring it up. You're not allowed to mention any math. Heaven friggin' forbid. Everybody's got their panties in a twist over the friggin' Nichols Village or whatever. My goodness. I mean, this is the problem.
This is, by the way, this is Alice not drinking. Just imagine her if she was 7 beers in right now.
I'd be a lot nicer, probably. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Appreciate it. And
I'm in for Howie tomorrow, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. 1 hour. That means I do the chump line, do the poll, I dance a jig, and then half an hour later, for the next half an hour, it's all you. So call me tomorrow on the Howie Carr Show. I will be answering phone calls and we can talk. Soon I'll be talking about the Stacey Lacey case. Tomorrow we'll have the... Are
you saying that because you're mixing it up with like Lacey Peterson?
Who I also like.
Okay. Thank you for listening. Appreciate it. And appreciate that you guys are around. And the chat says that they hope Cheswick says it hopes it's as long as the Jerry Lewis telethon, and Splash wants a burn barrel all-nighter. So I quote statistics all day. All right.